Before I begin my review, I want to formally apologize for not having uploaded anything in almost a month. The reason for this, and the reason that this review is over a week late, is simply because I started a full-time job. For weeks now, I would be getting home at 1 in the morning, and would be far too tired the next day to do anything before leaving to work again. Thankfully, my hours have changed, so I'm getting home at about 10 o'clock at night now, so I have a bit more time to work on things in the day. I'll try my best to upload whenever I can, but just know if I rarely upload for this next month or so, that's why. As soon as school starts up again in September, I am going to leave the job and go back to school, so this won't be a permanent hiatus. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into reviewing Renew Your Vows number 3. The comic begins by showing Regent in his human body, asking the doctors if he would be able to properly absorb and keep Spider-Man's powers. Regent claims that Spider-Man's powers are special, that they are what he needs to accomplish his greatest task, and that nothing else matters. He leaves after reforming his augmented form and showcases every superhero he has defeated trapped in a case of some sort, proving that they are not actually dead. The scene transitions over to an electronics shop. The Tinkerer turns around hearing a noise and sees Spider-Man in his black spider costume. Spider-Man tells him that he needs inhibitor chips. The Tinkerer tells him that those chips are forbidden tech, and that they most likely won't even work. Spider-Man says he doesn't care, that he will deal with that himself. While telling Spider-Man that he knew he had come to get more inhibitor chips before, the Tinkerer sets off a silent alarm. Spider-Man's spider sense goes off, and he questions the Tinkerer about what he has done. Then Dr. Octopus breaks through the wall. In the distance, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, Marco, notices that the Vulture and the other Sinister Six members are headed towards the same location. He guesses that they finally have a lead on Spider-Man. Marco asks if he should follow them. The commander tells him to follow, but make sure to stay hidden. Bobby Morse thinks that they should use this as their opportunity to enlist Spider-Man, but the commander says they already spent too much time and resources making sure the power pack were safe from Regent. He also says he doesn't want to waste resources on the coward who left the Avengers hanging. Bobby says that they could still use him, and the commander says he'll see what he can do. Back at the fight with Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock says that he has waited for the day he could finally finish off his greatest enemy, and that Spider-Man wasn't hiding from Regent, he was hiding from him. Spider-Man, annoyed, proceeds to tell Doc Ock he doesn't have time to waste on him, with Doc Ock replying it doesn't matter, because his time is up thanks to his new unbreakable robot arms. Spider-Man tells him that they don't seem unbreakable, and begins to pull on them. Doc Ock pleads for Spider-Man to stop because they are linked up to him, but Spider-Man keeps pulling and brutally rips off Doc Ock's robot limbs. In pain, Doc Ock says that replacing his organics with robot limbs was a mistake, and that he'll have to fix that for next time. Spider-Man tells him there isn't going to be a next time, causing Doc Ock to mock him, saying he can't web him up for the authorities anymore, since Regent controls everything and the Sinister Six are the authorities. Spider-Man simply stares at Doc Ock. When Doc Ock realizes what is going to happen, he pleads for Spider-Man to stop. The Sinister Six arrive, but Spider-Man is gone and there's nothing left but a broken and beaten Doc Ock. The Sinister Six talk amongst themselves about how much Spider-Man has changed and how brutal he was with Doc Ock, while Kraven starts looking around. Kraven soon realizes that the actions that Spider-Man has done, such as getting inhibitor chips, showing up at the school, alongside with the scent that he's given off, all indicate that he is a father looking after his cub. At home, Annie is watching TV, where Jameson is shouting his usual rants about Spider-Man the Menace. Mary Jane turns off the TV and tells Annie that it's time for her to go to sleep. Annie asks MJ if what the shouting man on TV was saying about their dad was true. She wants to know what Peter was like back when he was Spider-Man. MJ decides Annie's finally old enough and tells her about her father's days as a superhero. After teasing Annie a little bit by telling her how much she enjoyed seeing Peter in his outfit, MJ tells Annie about what happened with Peter and his Uncle Ben. She also tells her that Peter was an amazing hero, and he always helped everyone he could. When Annie asks if he stopped being a hero because he lost someone, MJ tells her that no, Peter never lost, clearly sugarcoating the story for her. Peter arrives to find MJ and Annie talking. MJ heads off with Peter, leaving Annie to sleep, and gives Peter some of Annie's hair for the power inhibitor. As Peter and MJ are discussing what to do next, the TV turns itself on, meaning that Regent is having a mandatory broadcast. He announces that the next day all the parents of children attending PS 122, the school Annie attends, are required to attend a family meeting and screening in order to identify that there are no more superhumans at the school. MJ is worried, however Peter stays calm, saying that he has a plan. The next day, the three of them head to Annie's school, which is the former Avengers mansion. The families in the crowd talk amongst themselves about their different opinions on Regent and how much things have changed. Peter asks Annie if she's scared, to which she replies that she is, and that her spider sense would be going off if the inhibitor bracelet wasn't working. The three of them manage to pass through Kraven's smell test and the scanners. Relieved, MJ tells Peter that he's really good at coming up with plans. As they are walking away, the alarms go off, with a young boy having been identified as a superhuman. This causes commotion and several soldiers grab the boy, while other families start running around. Peter wants to get out of there, seeing as how they are already safe, and interfering would only endanger them. But Annie says that they need to do something. They need to be heroes, like she was always told that they were. MJ takes Annie's side, saying that they deserve to live in a world where they can be free. With his wife and daughter's words of encouragement, Peter decides it's finally time to fight back. Peter quickly changes into his black spider suit and plans out how he's going to take care of the situation, while making sure that Annie and MJ are safe. The hobgoblin is in the air and starts throwing pumpkin bombs to dispel the crowd. Spider-Man manages to web up his hand before he can throw more, causing him to crash into a Regent statue and explode. Spider-Man arrives with what appears to be a joke, but makes it clear he hoped that wasn't funny, because he's done being funny. Mysterio then heads over to the security systems, hoping that if he finds the family that's missing a father, he will find Spider-Man. The crowd of families is watching Spider-Man fight whatever's left of the Sinister Six, which at this point is only Vulture, Kraven, and Shocker. Annie wants to help out since she has spider powers, but MJ tells her that there's nothing she can do. That trying to fight would be very irresponsible. As they are talking, MJ and Annie are grabbed by what appears to be two of Regent's soldiers. Peter sees them being taken away and can do nothing more than scream out to them. The comic ends with what appears to be a tease for the next issue, showing Annie in a makeshift superhero costume. This was once again a really good comic issue, and I regret that it took me over a week to get this review out, since Renew Your Vows number 4 isn't that far away. There was a lot more character development for Annie, as well as her struggle between being a hero and being a person, what her powers mean and how she should use them. She wants to help, but is unable to because of the circumstances in her life. She really wants to make a difference, fight back. Even without proper training or a disguise, she wants to fight back against Regent. She doesn't want to live in this world. It's Annie who wants Peter to fight back against the Sinister Six at the school and be a hero. She's also starting to question about whether her father was always a hero. She knows all the good things about him, but she's starting to wonder if there are any bad things. MJ didn't even tell Annie the entire truth. She covered it up saying that he never lost, despite the fact that Spider-Man has lost quite a lot. There still wasn't that much of a proper explanation or purpose for Regent, but we now know that Spider-Man's powers are the most important to him. It's also nice to know that the other superheroes aren't actually dead. Regent has them trapped in some kind of chamber where he draws power from them. The S.H.I.E.L.D. plot was also expanded on. They helped rescue the Power Pack after Spider-Man gave them enough time to escape. Although recruiting Spider-Man would be helpful, they don't want to risk anything, especially after how he abandoned the Avengers. Although, I'm going to say it again. If Regent was powerful enough to rip off the Hulk's arm, what could Spider-Man have done? In fact, since Spider-Man's powers are apparently what Regent needs, I'm going to assume that if Spider-Man was there, Regent would go after him the most. I'm pretty sure the two soldiers that grabbed MJ and Annie at the end were actually S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in disguise. Although, with Mysterio checking the security footage, it might actually have been Regent. Spider-Man is also starting to become more brutal. We don't really see what he does to Doc Ock, but it must be really bad based on what the other members of the Sinister Six said. Later on, he also messed up with the Hobgoblin and caused him to crash and explode, presumably killing him. I feel kind of bad for the Sinister Six in this. They went from the Sinister Six, to the Fearful Five, to the Frightful Four, to the Threatening Three in one issue. Spider-Man was also very reluctant to interfere with the mess at the school, instead focusing on making sure Annie and MJ was safe. It was only after MJ and Annie convince him that he steps in to fight. He prioritizes his family over anything else. As I've said, it's another really good issue. Plenty of character development for Annie and Peter, as well as a nice development of their own struggles, their own individual character struggles between what to do, what's right, and what's wrong. It was nice to see the Sinister Six back in action, even if by the end they were reduced to a mere Frightful Four. Another nice point was the crowd's mixed reaction to both Regent's mandatory family meeting and the Spider-Man fighting the Sinister Six. There are those individuals that support Regent, that likes how things are, and those that want things to go back to how they used to be. There's different opinions on how the matter is. Not everyone thinks the same way, which is nice. It's nice to see different views of opinions on how things are. Overall, I'm going to give Renew Your Vows number 3 a 9 out of 10. This issue was really close to being 10 out of 10, but I simply can't give it a perfect score when the main villain is weak and underdeveloped. I can't wait for the next issue. Hopefully that tease was truthful and we get to see Annie use her spider powers to fight back. I'm really interested to see how she'll be able to fight, seeing as how she doesn't have any proper training. She really doesn't know how to use her powers that much. Let me know what you thought of Renew Your Vows number 3. Once again, sorry for the delay, but you know how life can be, how work can be. Things happen. I'm going to try to get Renew Your Vows number 4 out under a week when that comes out. But unfortunately, I can't promise anything. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought of the issue. Let me know what you think of Annie. Any other thoughts you might have. And I'll see you all next time.